You're watching MontyTV. I'm Jackie Karsh, sitting down now with renowned paleontologist Jack Horner. Thank you so much for sitting down with me.
You're welcome.
What is a dino expert doing at a tech conference?
Good question. I'm not sure.
Well, tell me about what you've been working on recently. I know that we've heard a little bit about the rumblings that you're trying to recreate a dinosaur out of a chicken.
Sort of. You know, we're trying to figure out whether birds, the descendants of dinosaurs, have carried along with them some of their evolutionary genetic pathways that were turned off during the course of evolution. In other words, you know, birds being the descendants of dinosaurs, dinosaurs had long tails and they had, you know, those velociraptor-like heads, and they had arms and hands, and now birds have wings, right, and no tail, and they have their bird-like mouth, right? And so what we're trying to do is first off figure out the pathway, the evolutionary pathway from dinosaurs to birds, and then see if we can reverse it.
How far off are we from doing this?
Well, that's a good question. We could right now, if we could, hatch an animal that has a slightly longer tail, that has arms and hands instead of wings, and has a velociraptor sort of like head. So, you know, I mean, we sort of can do it. The idea was to determine whether we could theoretically do it, right? I would like to have a pet dinosaur myself, but there's still, you know, there's a lot of rules and regulations in genetic engineering. And there should be, right? So whether we should do this or not is a good question.
We're at a tech conference, and obviously everybody here is talking about the future, but you work in the past. What can the past teach us about the future?
Well, I gave a talk yesterday, and it was titled Extinction or Evolution, Business Lessons from the Dinosaurs. And, you know, basically what we can see in the dinosaurs is that, you know, they got really big, and when, you know, animals that are really big in their environment are unstable. I mean, they're not likely to survive very long. If the climate changes, so many things can happen. And sort of the same thing goes in business, right? Also, diversity. Dinosaurs, the plant-eating dinosaurs didn't eat a variety of different kinds of food, mostly one kind of food, ferns. And so, you know, it's just like panda bears. If we took bamboo out, they would go extinct because they don't have a diverse diet. And so, same thing for dinosaurs. It didn't take much to cause their extinction because you know, we had a meteor hit and it wiped out basically all of the living plants. Everything went extinct. I mean, everything died. And so the animals that survived it were the animals that could hibernate or eat seeds. Birds ate seeds. Mammals hibernated.
Diversity, adaptation, and not being too big for your own good.
Don't get too big for your own good. That's right.
What inspired your love for the discovery of dinosaurs?
I was born this way.
Aren't we all?
Yeah, well,
but seriously.
I found my first dinosaur bone when I was 8. I found my first dinosaur skeleton when I was 13. And I've been looking for dinosaurs my whole life. So I can't remember a time when I wasn't interested. So.
What was the story behind your first discovery? 8 years old, that's, you know, quite young.
Well, I was fascinated by dinosaurs, and I wanted to find some, and my father was a geologist of sorts, and so he kind of had an idea where we could find some, and sure enough, we could.
How has the technology that you used evolved since your first discoveries?
Well, that's a good question. Actually, the technology in the field of actually finding them hasn't changed at all. We can use drones a little bit now, sort of to spot things, but you still have to go there. The field techniques are pretty much the same as they have been, you know, for hundreds of years, except we have jackhammers now instead of just plain shovels, right? So, but In the lab, we can use CAT scanners. I mean, we've got a lot of technology used in the medical field that we can actually use, to look inside of bones, and we can, study the internal structures, how fast they grew, how long they lived. There are a lot of things we can do. We're learning all the time.
Most people know you from Jurassic Park. What was it like working on that film?
Well,
or that film series, for that matter.
yeah, it was fun. I learned a lot about how movies are made. I wouldn't want to trade my job for their job for anything, and I told Spielberg that. He to me, filming it's kind of boring. I mean, when they're making a movie, they just shoot the same thing over and over again, right? Well, digging up a dinosaur is not like that.
Well, you could keep digging and not find anything.
Well, that's true, but that is true.
Do you have any goals, any must bucket list items that you must do before, you retire from paleontology?
I'm not going to retire from paleontology.
Never, okay.
That's where they'll find me when I kick the bucket.
Alongside the dinosaurs.
Exactly.
Jack, thank you so much for sitting down with us.